All right, who's starting us off?
Well, Kenny, what is your mindset as this open competition gets underway here in training camp? I remember in the off season you really talked about that you came here to start and that's what you plan on doing. How do you feel about all that now?
Yeah, I feel great about it, and right now it's just taking it a day at a time. Let everything else play out. But going back through the installs, having a chance to train the system over summer and work the footwork and everything, I think helped me a lot. I felt a lot more comfortable yesterday, just having a chance to rep a lot of those things over the last 5 weeks. So really just taking it a day at a time, and yeah.
Okay, I'm curious from your perspective. We talked about how it's so unusual to have like a four-man quarterback competition, and maybe you're not getting as many reps as you would in like a normal training camp practice. But like, what is before practice? What does after practice look like? What is like the day look like to make sure that even though you might not be throwing 25 times in a practice, you're locked in, you're getting as many reps and experience as you need.
Yeah, I think you got to find ways to steal reps, whether that's on the field watching, when you're not going, watching the other guys in there after practice, staying and throwing the spots that you may not have gotten to, the plays that you weren't able to run. Put receivers in spots and just throw those routes, work the footwork and work the timing that way. Film room, watching everybody's reps in film. So there's multiple ways that you can do it. I think it's big to get the mental and the physical reps as well. Staying after and doing the extra stuff to get those reps is huge.
How would Kevin describe how this is going to play out over the next few weeks? As far as how many reps you're going to get, who you're going to go with, when he even might make a decision. Has he talked about that?
No, I mean we don't. It's really, like I said, a day at a time. You don't know like what you're going to get that day. You're just kind of showing up and prepared to. I think every guy here is prepared to go play the entire practice. That's kind of how I look at it. You don't know what you're going to get, so whatever schedule for that day, I want to make sure that I know everything inside and out. So whatever reps I do get, I can take advantage of it.
Kenny, are you comfortable in this offense, or is it a lot different than what you've been in the past?
Yeah, I am comfortable. It's a little bit more under center than I've had, to do in the past. Kind of bouncing back to what I said earlier, having the 5 weeks in the summer to really rep more of it. Going into spring, I had an idea of what we were going to do, but then getting to experience spring and get those reps and then go home and work on, those things and really hone in on them, I think helped me a lot, and I felt a lot more comfortable.
What specifically did you do like during your time off to kind of really hone in on whether it was just watching film or was there specific things that you felt like really were most beneficial for you?
Yeah, I think I would go home and throwing 2 or 3 times a week. I would treat those days that I would throw like an install day. So install one, I would go home, watch the tape, study it, and I would write down all the routes and the footwork that I wanted to do. And that day was like install one day. And I did that throughout the summer and all my throwing sessions to kind of like, almost cheat a little extra practice, to look at the scripts from the spring, look at all the installs, put plays together, say the play, run the play, throw the route, just trying to cheat the reps because like we've been saying, you may not get as many as you'd like. You just got to take advantage of what you get.
And yesterday you started things off on the 11-11 team drills. I know that's obviously going to change, as you said, but for you getting those extra reps while Joe kind of sits to the side, have you seen that help you create chemistry, get those maybe extra reps that you were talking about as you try to get acclimated and get yourself ready?
Yeah, those are huge. Whatever you can get with the guys in live speed, especially going against the defense, full 11 on 11, calling the play in the huddle, breaking the huddle, lining up, knowing where guys are going to be, the timing of the play, how each guy runs his route. It all plays into playing quarterback at a high level. So whenever you can get those reps and that experience, it's huge.
Did you get together with Joe Flacco or any of the Browns receivers?
No, I had some family things going on over summer, and we didn't get a chance to do it. But luckily we have a 6-week camp to make up for it.
Kenny, when you got traded to Cleveland, what was your first reaction? Of course, then after that, it's like Flacco and dropped a bunch of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was just excited. It's an opportunity to compete. I mean, that's all you can ask for. So having an opportunity to compete against these guys, and it's a great room. We're having a lot of fun already together. But really, it was the opportunity that I was most excited about.
Say, go back even just 2 years. How much different are you now as a person and quarterback?
A lot. I mean, it's you experience so much of life. I think being an NFL quarterback, you experience the highs, the lows. I have an unbelievable support system that I can lean on. But you just go through so many trials and adversity. You learn a lot about yourself, a lot about the people around you. So I'm grateful for every experience that I've had because I feel like it made me a better person, a better player today.
When you talked about yourself as a player, though, as you've gone through this, going from Pittsburgh and then to Philadelphia, and now you're here in Cleveland, just what have you learned about yourself as a player that can make you a better quarterback?
Yeah, I think the ability just to buy into whatever system you're in. I've been in different systems. What I feel like I have the ability to play in a lot of systems with what I can do inside the pocket and outside the pocket. So buying into the scheme, buying into what the coaches are telling me to do, and then just leaving it all out there, working hard every day. So it's not going to be done in one day. It's not going to be done in 2 weeks. You got to show up and be your best every single day. So that's really what I'm focused on doing.
When you talk about the opportunity to have that chance to start, so how important is it to you at this stage in your career to capitalize on that opportunity? Does it feel more real in training camp than it did maybe in May and June?
Yeah, it's definitely more real now. Obviously, the season's almost here, but in the spring, you're really it's kind of trial and error thing. You're feeling out the offense. It's a new system for everybody here, so we were kind of working through the kinks of it, I'd say. Having the 5 weeks to train and work at what I know that we were going to do to come back now, and now it's time to sharpen everything up and get ready to go. So I think the springtime was a great time to work things through, and now it's time to go.
Can you explain some of it? Because I think I'm a little confused. You talked about those 5 weeks when you were cheating. Was that between mini camp and now?
Yes. Yeah, right after mini camp, I have my quarterback coach in New Jersey. Those 5 weeks, being able to go through the playbook and installs all over again and treat those days like practice, making like a mini script up to go out there and practice, I think it helped me a lot.
And then who are you throwing to?
All receivers around the area. Yeah.
It feels like Jerry Jeudy's a guy that you've been able to really connect with out there. A lot of plays to evolve from each other. What's it been like working with him, and maybe what has he gotten out of you on the field?
Yeah, no, he's got my full trust already. Jerry, you watch him on tape, it's one thing, but to go out there and play with him is another. His route running, his technique, his ability to find space and zone. He's a full package receiver, and he makes our job as quarterbacks a lot easier. So he's also a great guy to work with. He comes with a great attitude. He wants to win. He wants to work hard. So it's really easy to work with a guy like Jerry.
What do you like about this system? What you up? Okay.
What do you have to do, and what do you have to show to win this starting job?
Consistency. I think that's what coaches are looking for. A guy that's consistent, that's the same guy every day that they can count on. They can call any play. They know that we'll get them out of a bad play. If a shot's called and it's not there, we'll check it down. So just good quarterback play that can help this team win games, because that's what it's all about. We're all here to win, and that's all I'm concerned about.
Is it different coming into a season as your third team rather than as a first-round pick?
Say that again?
Is it different for you coming to a new team, your third team, than it was being a first-round pick in Pittsburgh?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, you have to attack the day and want to be the best player that you want to be. So I think as long as you keep that mindset, whatever the outside perception is of your situation, as a player, that doesn't really hinder my ability to go out there and play at the level that I know that I can play at.
What do you like about the system that really helps you, the way you play quarterback, the way it's set up?
Yeah, I think it's very versatile. I think we do a lot of different things, whether it's under center in the gun, the play action game, the drop back game, some movement things where I can get out on the edge. There's a lot of things that I think fit how I like to play quarterback. So
have you been under center before?
Yeah, I have been. Not at the level or the amount that we are here now, though.
Kenny, obviously you have Joe Flacco to talk to about this, but I was wondering, have you been able to talk to any quarterbacks outside of the building who played in the system before and pick their brain?
Not specifically in this system. There's a couple that are like this system, but really, Joe's the best guy to ask. The guy, he's been around, he's played in this system before, so having him in the room and on the field, to bounce questions and talk through some things has been beneficial to all the guys in there.
Just a couple more. How is your relationship with him developing?
Oh, it's been awesome. Like, it feels like you're almost like talking like an older brother or something when you're in there. Like, he's a great guy. We're from about an hour from each other, so from the same area. He trained at Test Football for the Combine. That's where I trained as well. So there's some crossover in our past. He went to Pitt. I know a lot of guys that know him at Pitt, and everyone raved about him, and everything's held true to this day. He's a great guy to have in the room.
Kenny, in terms of your mobility, do you feel like that's when you will have an opportunity to really step it up in this competition, when you have a chance maybe in 2-minute drills or practices against the Eagles or games where you can kind of make some off-schedule plays and show what you can do from that standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's another element that I can add. From the competition standpoint, I can't control, what other guys do, just focus on what I can do. And I know that's something that I can bring, to the table, to this offense. And we do a lot of it, which I like.
Kenny, this team has put an emphasis on creating pressure up the middle. I mean, we just talked to Mason Graham. What does that do to you? What kind of problems does that cause?
Yeah, you just have to operate fast. You have to know where your answers are. If you're in a play where they're bringing pressure, know where to get the ball out. It helps sharpen your skills as a quarterback when you're playing against a caliber defense like we are every single day. You talk about just the guys up front, the front seven, but that's the secondary can play. There's a lot of really good players there. So I think it's huge for, as quarterbacks, backs, receivers, tight ends, to go against this level of competition every day. It'll only make us better. And, I'm excited. It's only been day one. We're on day two now, but it's been good so far.
Is interior pressure harder to deal with than pressure off the edge?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they're getting pushed back up the middle, there's nowhere to step up. If it's on the edge, you can step up in a pocket and make a throw. With the interior pressure, it adds an element of, trying to find an escape lane if there is one. And, we got some guys that are going to cause a lot of teams problems.
So with the trend
Last
in
one.
the NFL towards more pass rushing defensive tackles and having everyone across the board that can get to the quarterback, is that where your mobility will probably come in handy, just in terms of being able to get out of there somehow?
Yeah. I mean, that can help, but you really just want to, know where your answers are. Like I said earlier, you want to get the ball out of your hand. You want to help the offensive line. You don't want to sit back there holding the football too long, but I also know that I have ability to extend and make plays downfield. So there's a fine line between both. You go out there, you play fast, you just kind of read and react and go from there.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.